Rectangular back with another review. This time we have the Revoltech Iron Man Mark 1 from Series 45. This is made by a company called Kaiyodo, and this is an import from Japan, so you'll need to either purchase it online or maybe, if you're lucky, at a high-end comic book store. I got mine from A.C.B.A, and I think with shipping, I paid for express shipping, it was $52. Typically I've seen it going for about $60 and up on eBay. So this is Revoltech is known for making really nice movie accurate figures, more in what I would say 5-inch scale, not 6-inch scale, which I typically collect in. But I think the attention to detail and movie accurate portrayal of this figure, I just couldn't pass up. So here we have the outside of the box, and got some really nice pictures of the figure, saying it's official movie merchandise. Tells you the name of the sculptor. I'm not going to slaughter his name. It's in Japanese. And on the back we have information about what is inside. Comes with a really nice flamethrower attachment. You can see there on the top. Also comes with 2 separate hands that you can swap out. It comes with a little placard with the name of the armor, a little box to hold the accessories, and a V-shaped foot stand. Very nice. Shows the Revoltech technology. It's got ratcheted joints and shows you pictures of all the different poses that you can get him in. Huge difference compared to the Hasbro version that we have, which is hardly articulated at all, and I will be doing a size comparison with that figure later on. Again, just going over the Revoltech joint technology, which is good if this is your first Revoltech figure, understanding how it works so you don't break the figure. Alright, so let's go ahead and get him out of the package and get a closer look. Alright, here we've got the figure out of the package, and first thing I have to say is, wow, the paint job is so awesome on this thing. Hopefully you can tell that he actually looks metal, unlike the Hasbro version, which definitely looks plastic. This thing's got a really nice shine, and all the rivets are really well detailed. Different shades of silver and bronze and a little bit of gold mixed in. Just looks amazing. It looks even better off camera, or in person I should say. The yellow is much brighter. It's not showing up quite as bright in these lights and on my camera, but it feels really sturdy. Most Revoltech figures feel a little flimsy, like they're gonna fall over or just kind of crumple, but this thing's got some bulk to it, so I really like how solid it feels. And as you can see on the right, we have the flame attachment that connects to the left side, that would be his right hand. And then you have the 2 spare hands, the little nameplate that he comes with, the stand for the peg holes in his feet, and the atypical box to put all the accessories in from Revoltech. So I'm going to move all of the accessories out of the way and let you get a closer look at the figure itself, and then we'll get into the accessories themselves. Here we've got the figure by himself with all my lights cranked up on him so you can get a better look. And I'm going to pull him in closer so we can check out all of his amazing paint detail. So, looking at from the top down, very awesome. Really love the sculpt on this thing. Like every rivet you can see, it's got detail on it. You can kind of see a figure underneath the helmet. You can see some eyes there. It looks like he's wearing a black face mask, which would make sense if he didn't want to get burned. He would have like a neoprene mask like race car drivers use. And it would be nice if they had painted the eyes, but I'm not going to complain about that. I mean, it's supposed to be in the shadows. You're never really see Iron Man's eyes except in close-ups in the comics. This is a movie figure after all, but very awesome. All this is sculpted. If you run your finger across it, it's all raised. Very well done there. And love all the different shades of green and brown. It's got Stark Industries stamped on the back. It's got like the cool little motor that runs his servos and joints. Looks like a little oil can or battery pack of some kind. Really awesome. This is a soft material. Show his Iron Man butt there. Just extremely well sculpted. And this is like a softer collar material that goes around the Revoltech joint, which is a double ball peg. Here you can see the different shades of green and silver, bronze on all the armor pieces, and then it's got the brown underneath the leather, like the leather suit that he's got underneath the armor plates. All the different mechanics that go into the flamethrower. He's got the canister for the fuel for his flamethrower, and then the actual flamethrower itself, which we'll get into that in a minute. And over here we have a little door that pops open, a little hinged door. It's a little tricky, and it doesn't go that far open, but it exposes the little rocket that's inside. And you need to use something small to get that rocket out. And it's just like on a little hinge. You just pry it up, and you can actually remove the rocket, but it's meant just to be in there, just so that you can have him pointing it, getting ready to fire. And I know it does come out further than that, so see, you can see there's a little plastic peg that goes all the way through the length of the rocket. There we go. So you just have to lift it up till it's about halfway on there. This is one of the only things I wish had done a little bit better. Maybe if they just made this door hinge open more. I'm just afraid to do it too much. There we go. And then you can actually see the rocket is getting ready to fire it. Very cool. And we'll get into the accessories here in a minute, but just wanted to show the overall figure. See all the different, they got the belts on his legs. They look like black rubber, but they are just hard plastic. and just has a single jointed knee, as you can see there, which, you know, he's not going to have a whole lot of articulation in this suit. You know, it's not it's Tony's least flexible armor by far. And you can see here he's got a separate plate, which is different from this side. This is rounded, and this is like a hinged plate that comes on the front. This is not movable. Don't believe so. I don't want to force it. It does not appear to move. But he does have really nice toe articulation. He's got those really nice ratcheted Revoltech joints at the ankle. Obviously the same on both sides. And it looks great, you know, the articulation looks like it actually matches up with the sculpt, which is very cool. And this plate does not move on the back, it's just hard sculpted on. But you got some really nice detail there in the back. And this plate does not move, it's all part of the sculpt. The only part that's flexible is this piece, and the crotch armor piece there moves a little bit. And as we get into the articulation, his head is on the double ball peg, so he can look up pretty damn good, and he can look down really well, and of course rotate 360, and can rock a little bit from side to side. Not a whole lot, you know, the armor is impeding the helmet there, and if we wanted to, we could just pop that off, and if you had a Tony Stark head, you could probably stick that on there. And if you wanted to, you could pull this Revoltech joint out and do some, you know, change out that collar piece, but I don't know why you'd want to. Nothing else under the head there. The mask does not come off, and you just pop that head back on. Come on, there we go. So we have standard Revoltech joints in the armpits there, and the shoulders, so we can rotate 360 degrees. He's very stiff right now, just got him out of the package. But there you go, 360 degrees, and it's in there pretty tight. The sculpt is pretty close to the joint on the inside, so can't get, well, like, that's about, you know, he's going to bang up against the side of the armor there, but you can't get it, you know, all the way close to him. You just have to kind of mash it together. You know, same articulation on the other side, obviously. 360 degree rotation, and you can get some pretty nice manipulation of the arm so that he can point at bad guys. Very cool there. Same with the rocket on this side. That's a little bit difficult, but it can be done. Of course, this door hinge doesn't want to stay open to expose the rocket all that well. Yeah, could be better, to be honest, but you know, it is a very realistic sculpt. He's not going to be able to aim all that well. It's more for aiming forward, and that's going to look a lot better. There you go. And it's got the double ball peg on the torso, so he can flex pretty far forward, and not so much as the back. You have this mechanical piece. It does flex a little bit, so he can't quite flex his ab too far back. And if you want to see that, there you go. That's what it looks like on the inside. Yeah, it's on its own piece, but there doesn't look like there's a hinge in there. So it flexes a little bit, but because of this back piece is actually pretty stiff plastic, it doesn't have a whole lot of give. So that might have been the only thing they could have done, is to put this on its own hinge, and it could flap up, and then put this piece on its own hinge, and both these pieces could move back a little bit more. It would give them a little bit more articulation. And yeah, so that's what he looks like from the inside. So you can see he's got a total joint here, and then the Revoltech joint moves as well. So in theory, he should have really good articulation, but the Sculpt is not going to allow for it. So I guess you could half it, and you could pull them apart and do something like this if you wanted to have him kind of flailing backwards. You could do something like that, and then he just comes back together. And I like how they put this waist joint piece. This is all hinged here, so you can't actually move it out of the way if you want to lift his legs up, which is really nice. Very nice attention to detail. Reminds me a lot of the Figure Arts Iron Man figures. So there you go. You can get his leg all the way up like that. Very nice. Getting him a nice walking pose. Of course, you'll probably need to put him on a stand because he is pretty top heavy. But the fact that you can actually move him like that is pretty damn nice. Really appreciate that. So let's get into the accessories that he comes with. Now, one of the only complaints I have about this figure is that he only comes with one flame attachment. The flame attachment is great, but it's a little short, and like I said, he only comes with one. Would have been nice if he had come with two, because just like in the movie, he actually has two flamethrowers. So this is on a little sliding joint here, as you can see. Get that a little closer. So when it's back, he's not using the flamethrower, and then you move it forward, and this little guy's got teeth on it, and you just slide it into that attachment there, that little rail. So bam, you got him firing flame out of that arm, and you can do that to the other side. So pretty cool that that they stayed true to the movie where you can fire flames from both sides, but with only one attachment. That, like Junior says, it's all about the fun factor. So I would have been a little bit more ramping up the fun factor, and actually mine is a little bit loose on this side, so that's a little bit of a letdown, but it really looks great on there. It's just awful small. I mean, it looks like he's just beginning to fire it up, and probably going to need to ask my buddy AJ Frost to see if he can make me some bigger ones. He is the glue gun master. So that's it for the flame attachment, and like I said, this one's a little loose, and that one fits really nicely. And as far as the hands go, I believe both of these hands are removable. Yeah, it just pops off, so it's the hand and the back of the armor piece. You got the peg exposed there. And so you can have him with an open hand over here. There we go. And on this side, this one's going to be a little bit more challenging. Got to slide that back in. Grab a hold of that. I'm just going to twist it upside down. There we go. Well, I got the peg. That's okay. Got the Revoltech joint and the hand came out together. And I can stick on the other open hand. It's just a leather glove. Pop that in there. And there you go. If you want him to have his hands up, might look a little better when he's using the flamethrower. Stick that on there. Check out how that looks. Looks pretty cool. Alright, and the stand works well with the peg holes in his feet. Now, Bob the Odd was explaining to me how there are different stand attachments that Kaiyodo, I can't pronounce that, makes, where you can fit a different stand onto here. I think mostly they're used for effects, so it only has one peg for his feet and the other peg does not fit. It's a bigger hole, so don't try to force it. It's not going to fit. You'll just end up breaking your figure. It's just to help add a little bit of support there. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. So here we have the figure next to his counterpart from Hasbro, and obvious differences are pretty glaring there. But before I wanted to get into the comparison, I wanted to mention that it feels like these thigh areas are actually die-cast metal, and that's probably why he feels so heavy, not what I would typically feel from a Revoltech figure. So you probably can't tell the difference on camera, but definitely feels like there's some weight to him there in the thighs. So I'm not sure if it's just the amount of plastic, but I could be wrong. It could be just heavy plastic. But yeah, hopefully I'll find out if there's actually any die-cast metal in him. But I was pretty surprised at how close in scale these two figures are to each other. The Revoltech one is just a tiny bit shorter, as you can see there. Pretty damn close. Look at that. Just a hair taller on the Hasbro one. Just a hair. So, very cool. Very happy to see that. This is probably the smallest Iron Man that we have from Hasbro. I will show a couple of the others. I think the Extremis is probably the same size as this Hasbro Mark 1. But pretty glaring obvious difference is the tank for the flamethrower fuel, and this one's got that giant attachment for the effects piece to pop into. Pretty similar as far as the articulation goes, just because of how much armor there is on this guy. I think you can probably get him in a much better walking pose. You know, these knee joints don't come down very far, and they come down really well on this Revoltech guy. So I move that up out of the way, and he can actually bend his knee 90 degrees. So right now Revoltech is kicking ass on the Hasbro one, but I'm not surprised by any means on that. And obviously the paint app's way better on this guy. So let's go ahead and show some of the other figures from Hasbro in comparison to this one. Actually, just wanted to show quickly the difference in the backs of the two figures. Just huge amount of difference in the level of paint and detail. So there you go. On the far left we have him next to the movie Mark IV Iron Man from the Iron Man 2 film, and on the right, which is the figure's left, we've got the new Heroic Age armor, which according to Hasbro all the future Iron Man figures are going to be based on that sculpt. And here he is next to the classic Iron Man and the Extremis Iron Man, both from Hasbro. And as you can see, actually he is about the same height, if not a little taller, depending on how you have that classic Iron Man posed. He's actually a little bit taller. You know, obviously you could probably bend him a little bit and they might be the same size, but that's pretty damn good. That's what I would consider Legends scale. And last but not least, we have the old Toy Biz classic Iron Man on the right, and on the far left we have the SH Figure Arts Mark IV Iron Man, which is probably, well, hands down, is the best version of that figure there is in existence, as far as I'm concerned. So, hopefully you guys liked the video. Please hit like, share with your friends. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you would. And please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear back from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.